This video and others like this one are possible thanks to viewers like you. Please show your support with a like and subscribe, and be sure to hit the bell notification icon so you don't miss any new videos. If you want to get involved with the channel, consider becoming a channel member. There are many benefits to channel membership, including access to our Discord, exclusive deck tech and strategy videos, and the opportunity to help create channel content. I want to sincerely thank all our channel members, as I truly couldn't do this without your support. You guys rock. Go Commando.
Hey guys, this is Mike doing a special report for the Dice Commando. I wanted to do a quick unboxing for my new pickup, the Alien Role-Playing Starter Set. So I'm very excited about this game. Free League is one of my favorite RPG publishers. They're most famous for their Tales from the Loop game, but they've just been on an absolute roll. Tales from the Loop, Forbidden Lands, which is my favorite, probably my favorite game they produce, which is a kind of a survival, low magic, like fantasy role-playing game. Alien is an IP that they've just acquired, I think maybe last year. So they haven't released much for it. They have a core rulebook, which you do not need to play this game, very interestingly. You only need the starter set. So the starter set includes basically everything you need to play the game with your friends through one scenario. And then later releases, which they have, you actually still don't need the core rulebook. You can have the starter set plus the next scenario, which I thought was very forward-thinking and pretty cool. They break their game into basically two different play categories. So there is a play style that is cinematic, which is what it is primarily designed for, where you're basically playing through a movie scenario. So you are not expected to live through that. Your characters are not expected to live through that. It's more like a horror movie. You don't progress as a character, but you progress as a player. So if you get experience points, you keep them as a player. You get perks as a player. The other way that you can play is through a campaign style, which is more of a traditional role-playing. That you will need the core rulebook to play with. But this unboxing and talk is just about this starter set. So very cool artwork. You can see here what you get in this particular box is the Quick Start Rules, which is about 104 pages. It runs just through the cinematic style of gameplay. It also doesn't cover a lot of the lore. So if you like the lore, I would really suggest that you get the core role-playing book, which I am lucky enough to have acquired already. So this book actually is massive. I think it's like 380 pages of just crunchy goodness, and also lots of information on the corporations and different star leagues, and it's just very cool. This box, though, for $50, it retails for $50. Quick Start Rules. You get a full, I think it's 48 page scenario that can be played in probably 2 to 3 sessions, depending on how much you guys yuck it up or don't yuck it up. And then you also get some tools that I'm gonna go over. So let's dig into it and see what's in the box. See if it's worth your $50. So. So the first thing that you get in here, you'll see is you get these dice. The Free League system, I believe they call the Year Zero engine, uses a system of dice sixes. You're trying to get sixes for success. These dice retail for $20 a pack. So the fact that you get one of each in the box, so $40 worth of dice and a $50 game, already you're kind of getting a bonus. Sometimes these dice get a little hard to find. You can play with any dice six, by the way, as long as you can discern them between the two types. These are kind of alien themed. You can see the success sixes kind of have the cool little starburst that's very alien. And then the yellow dice, these are stress dice, and they have little face hugger symbols. So if you get sixes, it's good. If you get ones, it's bad. And then you can push your roll so you can pick up the dice and re-roll ones that aren't ones and sixes, and then you pay a consequence for all the ones that are left over. What makes this game interesting, and all of Free League's game interesting, is they add one little mechanic to their system that gives the IP its flavor. So in this particular game, it's the stress dice that are added to their system. So as your character gets afraid or witnesses something horrific, they will receive bonus dice, the bonus stress dice. they allow you to do things that normally you would not be able to do, but the consequence for rolling bad on the stress dice is much higher than rolling the standard dice. So that's very cool. I'm a big fan of that mechanic. I love kind of risky, high stakes role playing games. So you get the little catalog. You get these cards. You get a pack of cards. So this is actually the agenda cards, which each character, while you're playing in cinematic play, is given a secret card that only them and the GM know about, and that card instructs them on something they're supposed to be accomplishing during the cinematic play that only they know about. So what it does is it makes them play it makes them play in a way that might seem suspicious. And being suspicious is important in this game. It's because it's one of the things that drives the horror. This is, at its essence, a horror role-playing game. You see terrible things. You're doing terrible things. The monsters are terrible. So you get agenda cards. You also get some equipment cards in there. And then there's initiative cards. And I believe there's actually even a few vehicles that you can... And they're mainly made for visual aids, which I think is pretty cool. So that comes in there. This is the rulebook, which is a bound 104 page. Mine's a little dinged up. I'm not happy about that, but whatever. 104 pages, and you can kind of see that, how the layout looks. Whoever graphically designed this game was both a genius and didn't care about how hard it is to find things, because I find that, at least in my core rulebook, this game is very hard to kind of find things in it, mostly because there's a lot of empty spaces in it. They really dedicate a lot to the layout and the artwork. So very, very cool. I'm a big fan of it. It is different, and the dark background can make it a little hard sometimes to read. So that's what you get. So this is the core rulebook. This is all the rules that you need in which to play the game with this scenario, plus the next big box scenario, which is called Destroyer of Worlds. This is the only rulebook you need for that. You do not need the core rulebook, which actually might be hard to find, and is also is $50 by itself, the core rulebook. So, then you also get the scenario itself, which is not bound. It's stapled, but it's pretty high quality. Same paper, quality, high gloss, black, lots of maps. Telling you what to do. So this particular scenario is a cinematic scenario. So you will play this and it will end, and the chances are that your characters will die during this, but they will be characters that are given to you to play. And then you have the option, if you want, if your character does survive, they could maybe be in the sequel, if you wanted, I suppose, which would be the next big box that you did. So all of these are self-contained adventures. You have the option of creating your own if you have the core rulebook, and then kind of playing them in succession. I heard an interview with Free League actually just today, and they were talking about how all of their releases in a calendar year actually take place in the same futuristic year. So they're actually telling a story that you want to play in order, and they're not necessarily connected by characters, but they are connected by what happens in them, and they will harken back to each other. I thought that was pretty cool. So that's the scenario book you get. And you get five of these pre-made, pre-printed character sheets. The game system is a dice pool system that uses skills. So you have attributes. There's 4 attributes: strength, agility, empathy, and wits. And then so that's the base dice you get. And then if you have a skill that's applicable to what you're rolling, you will add the skill dice to the attribute, and that's how many dice 6s you get to roll. It's pretty simple. One of the things that differentiates this game system a lot like Forbidden Lands is you actually track your consumables, and that's a major part of this game, is being out of air, out of power, out of ammo, out of water, out of food. You don't always have to track that, but in particular scenarios, you will have to track that. So if you are in a vacuum and you have a spacesuit on, you will be tracking your air. And as your air expires, so could you, and it will help ratchet up the tension. So each one of these character sheets is double-sided, so you get the standard gameplay stuff, and then you also get serious glare. You also get a little bit about the character, and then you get a cool photo, and it kind of tells you, what their talents are and a little description. So you really, you don't need to know how to play this game. Like, the description I just gave you, plus these talents right here, will tell you pretty much everything you need to know to sit down and play this, as long as your GM is aware of, how to play the game. So you get, I believe it's 5 of these. This thing is a behemoth. So this is a map. I actually opened. I'm gonna tell you the truth. I opened this earlier and tried to record this, but my lighting was bad, so I actually already opened the plastic and opened this particular piece up. But this map is so gigantic. I want to say it's got to be 60 inches across. It's huge. So on one side is a star map, and it's made of this super, super thick. I can only show you parts of it because it's so big, but so this is one fold. Yeah, and so it folds out both directions this way twice more. So it's this massive star map that can be used, I suppose, if you were going to continue to play this game with your friends. You can hang it on a wall for reference. Also, what it does is on the back side of the same map is a ship map of the U.S. Let me see if I can get this in camera here, but it is the USCSS Cronus, which is the ship that this game takes place on. So the Free League is very much into maps, and so this is really big. It breaks down all the different size parts of the ship. Free League is very much into maps, and they love. I can tell they're kind of old nerds like me. They love hex crawling. So the game is played on a map mostly, so you're going to be kind of moving around the maps. It's kind of a nice bridge between role-playing games and board games. So if you have buddies who maybe aren't into role-playing games but are into board games and like Alien, this might be a good way to get them to play. There's very little commitment for them. They don't have to learn any hard rules or anything. They just kind of have to throw some dice. You also get this sheet of counters, which the most of these are these finder tokens. So if your movement tracker, so if you catch movement, you can put one of these on the map, and it will be there showing you that there was movement there. And then on the other side of them, they could be, you can use. Let's see if I can get this to focus up. Yeah, so on the other side of them, they could be other people or face huggers or xenomorphs or all kinds of crazy stuff in there. And then there's some there's some other tokens that just kind of indicate if you have a condition. Let's see if I can, there we go. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. I mean, to me, the biggest value out of this is those quick start rules, where you don't ever have to buy another set of rules to play this game. You can just use this quick start rulebook, and you'd be good to go. I enjoy self-contained things that I don't have to spend any more money on. I'll probably buy another set of these just because it is a dice pool game, so you could be rolling potentially a lot of dice. I'll probably buy another set of the black dice. But so this thing retails for $49.99. So far, what I've seen and read online is this is going to be a really cool game. I'm excited to use it to play at Gongai, like on a Saturday, just for my friends, like just sit down at a table. I don't think it's one where you need like super quiet, super concentration, because the players are playing. I mean, they're playing through a movie, and some of that inherently comes with some comedy and horror, just because people are going to be dying and whatnot. So expect for some very horrible, bloody deaths. I understand this game is a kind of very mature stuff in it, so not for the faint of heart. But check it out. Go to Gongai Games. You can use our code Commando10 at checkout for 10% off. I'm sure they can get this for you. This is a good game. I'm excited. The follow-up to this is called Destroyer of Worlds, which is a whole nother cinematic a scenario where your players will be playing colonial marines. So this is more of like a space trucker scenario, kind of like classic Alien, the first movie. And then the Destroyer of Worlds is more of a riff on Aliens, where you're playing colonial marines and you're trying to figure out what's happening on a space station. So pretty excited about that, but I'm not going to buy that until I think I get through play this one time. So the world's going to have to quit ending so that I can get together with my friends. So this is Alien RPG quick start. Check it out. Thanks, and go Commando.